Attention please. This uploading is only for educational purpose. No intention to infringe copyrights. Learning English with subtitles. GPITRAL. Follow us.
Animal House, following the work of the SPCA, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, based in New Zealand. Narrated by Jason Hoyt. Audio described by Therese Birch. A child cuddles a black kitten, a sheep with a lamb, an inspector in an SPCA van. An inspector holds up a tiny black kitten. Program title, Animal House.
The SPCA has just received a dog with some serious injuries, and the manner of how it received them has sent shockwaves through the village.
This dog came into us about a week ago as a stray with a badly injured eye. Once our vets examined her, they found that she'd been shot with an air rifle and she had a number of pellets embedded around her eye and around her head. We've sought specialist opinion from an eye surgeon, and there's nothing that can be done to save the eye, so unfortunately she's going to have that eye removed. We've held her a week hoping that an owner would come looking for her, and that hasn't occurred, so now we're going to go ahead and do the surgery and look for a new home for her.
With such a horrific case, it was decided to get the media on board to raise some awareness and hopefully find the people responsible, as well as asking the public for donations to help with the surgery and rehabilitation costs.
We did a media release and I did a couple of radio interviews, and since then we've had quite a lot of people ringing in or writing in to us wanting to help with the costs of the operation, and our first cheque this morning came in for $300.
Thanks to some very generous donations from the public, the SPCA can start the surgery process, and senior vet Peter McQueen has been handed the job.
What's happened is the dog was shot with an air rifle, and one of the pellets actually penetrated the cornea went through the front of the eye, and what's happened is part of the inside of the eye has actually prolapsed through the hole, and it's also lost fluid, so the eye is now actually shrunk down. It's basically irretrievable.
An X-ray is taken and there's an unpleasant discovery.
There's an air rifle pellet still embedded. The pellet is sitting in the bottom of the orbit.
Time to operate, and though removing the eye sounds extreme, it is the best thing for the dog.
There was the eye injury itself, but there were two other pellets embedded right next to the eye, and it had other pellets, so I can't imagine a dog would sit still while someone reloaded an air rifle and shot it again, which suggests the dog, was obviously unable to escape. So whether it was tied or secured, and unless you're a very good shot with an air rifle, to get 3 bullets, 3 slugs that close together, I imagine you'd have to be fairly close. So immediate concern is obviously the dog, but the other concern is what the people who did this are going to go on to do later in life, because the association with violence towards animals and violence towards people, the linkage is so strong.
The operation is long and needs a delicate hand, but eventually it's over.
That has gone much better than expected, really. The bullet was still sitting in the eye and it's come out cleanly. We don't have too much hemorrhage at all.
All that's required now is a stitch-up. Then it's a matter of time to see if she recovers from surgery. Inspector Vicky Border has been called to a Weymouth property in South Auckland where a stray turtle has turned up.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So this is the turtle you found?
Yeah.
Did you find it? Where did you find it?
There are over 300 species of turtles in the world, and many have become popular pets, but they can easily die from neglect or improper care.
It's a red-eared turtle. They're quite common. I don't have a great knowledge of turtles, but the shell's quite scratched, so I'm just going to take it to Clarice at Turtle Haven in Papakura, and she'll be able to tell us how old it is, what sort of condition it's in, and give it a good going over. I'm just going to put it in a cat carry cage. I'm not going to worry about putting any water. They don't need to travel in water. I'm just going to put it on a towel so it doesn't slip and slide around, and take it to Clarice.
In Papakura, there's a rehabilitation centre for turtles called Turtle Haven, run by SPCA volunteer Clarice Ford.
Hi, Clarice.
Hi, what you got? Oh, a young girl.
was found in Weymouth. A little girl found it just sitting on her doorstep.
Probably about 4 or 5, but it's quite hard to tell. What people do is leave them in small tanks and they start to deform. She's just starting to deform, so her tank was just getting too small for her. But she's still quite bright in her colour, so she's only a young one, aren't you? Little young face. Shower's nice and hard. Oh, we've got an infection. And go what? That's okay. We can fix it up with iodine. It's quite skinny. Normally they're going to get their head back to there. It's okay. Should we take her through with the big ones?
Yep.
Normally I weigh them and measure them when they come in. But it gives me an idea comparing her size to a healthy turtle. So she's 18 centimetres. So she should be about a kilo. And she's not. She's 800 grams, so she's 200 grams underweight. 90% of them they're underweight and they're shell soft or shell rot. Normally I would treat this, but because she's stressed, I'll put her in the pond and I'll get her out this evening and try to dig out some of the shell rot. It's just starting, the pink's just starting. Their shells are quite fragile, and while they're walking along the roads and scratch it, they get quite septic. So you think it'd be nice and hard, but so people put rocks and things for them to climb, and just a little scratch will cause an infection.
Clarice has a lot of experience looking after these interesting creatures. At any one time, she houses 20 to 25 turtles, so there'll be plenty of company.
Show you the difference between their weight. Can you see where Ninja is in here? Mm-hmm. And the difference in there? Mm-hmm. So that's what a healthy turtle looks like. Ninja's 12, but Ninja's not grown any bigger than a 5-year-old. She was left in a dry tank. Her owners put her in a paddling pool now and then. It actually took 6 months to get her to swim in the water. She still won't sleep in it, but she is swimming in it now.
So how long will it take to get this wee girl up to weight?
It'll probably take a couple of months of feeding her every day. The actual shell rot would probably come right in a couple of months, but every section peels off every year, and so it would take a few years for her to actually get down to the healthy shell, like Ninja's is. I'll put her in with Ninja, because she's like a big mother really. She's the first here, and every new turtle I put in with her, because she just will hang out with them for a while. It's almost like introduce everybody. There you go. There you go. That's the idea.
She drops the turtle into a pond.
At the SPCA clinic in Wellington, an extremely underweight dog has been brought in.
The person who's looking after him at the moment has brought him in. She's not the owner of the dog, but she's concerned that he's lost a lot of weight and is not himself. We're just a little bit concerned at how underweight he is, so I want to gather all the information that we can now, if anything comes of it, with regards to an owner being irresponsible with feeding or anything. We're just going to take some photos.
The dog named Mace may be ill, but if he's not and it's a case of irresponsible care, a prosecution could result, and these photos used in evidence. This is not the first time Mace has turned up here.
He originally came in about 3 weeks ago, kind of for vague symptoms. He didn't have anything specific wrong with him. He was starting to lose weight, but nowhere near this condition. Nothing really stood out on physical exam. The owner was given systematic treatment, sent home, told to come back in 24 hours. This is 3 weeks later. The first thing you notice, obviously, is that his head is a lot bigger than the rest of his body because he has nothing left as far as muscles and body fat is concerned. All you see is kind of a big head and then a real skinny body. You can see all his ribs. He's just emaciated at this point. And whether there's something going on internally or whether he's been wasting away for months and nobody's noticed, it's hard to say right now.
A blood sample will be sent to the lab for testing. Hopefully the results will reveal whether Mace is suffering from an illness or ill treatment.
Good boy.
End of part 1.